We haven't heard from you. What's your analysis of all of this?
Well, I think that it's pretty
You're
clear.
the optimist still here.
Well, I don't think I'm an optimist. I really sort of try to be as pragmatic as possible. But I do think that it's really clear that, you know, assuming that Obama wins.
Oh, hold on. I don't want to cut. CNN has now declared Obama the winner, so everyone is now reporting him as the winner.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So because this race was so close in so many areas, you know, half the country is going to be disappointed. And the most important thing is that we move forward united and recognize that, you know, whoever wins tonight, if it is Barack, that, you know, he is our president, and that we move forward united. And you know, we can honor those that we disagree with, and I think that that's something that he is probably going to talk about tonight in his acceptance speech or his reelection speech.
One thing that
You've gone through wins and losses here in your life.
Well, actually, 2 wins. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, he did say earlier tonight.
So one thing I would say that you have to think about when you look at this election is about $2 billion was spent on this election.
Wow.
The American people got more information than they've probably ever gotten about candidates in an election, and the American people chose to keep the Obama administration in place. And so that's really the way our system was designed. Our system was designed where every 4 years you have a chance to oust the incumbent if he's not doing his job. And so the American people clearly thought he was doing his job.
Or there could be another rationale. They clearly thought that he deserves another chance. I mean, it was this close. He deserves another shot. They like him. That's important to be liked, right? And maybe Romney could have done a better job.
Well, from the challenger, the burden on the challenger, and I think John Kerry would tell you this.
Before I don't mean to interrupt you. Challenges that have won: Reagan, beat an incumbent; Clinton, beat an incumbent. There were reasons that pattern into that. Parole cost.
Yep, there was a third party. There were disruptive events, right?
There was a third party in Reagan, too, John
Third party,
Anderson.
right. But I would say this. In general, there's a burden on the challenger to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the incumbent needs to be booted out.
Has failed.
And Romney did not make that case.
Howard, you going to say something?
Yeah, days after Obama was elected the first time, Republicans in Congress were saying our #1 job is to stop him from getting reelected. We have some serious issues coming up. We have the fiscal cliff, which we haven't talked about, and it's very complicated, but it means that if they can't reach a budget agreement, we cut trillions of dollars from the economy, from welfare programs, from defense, and it means the economy is going to do very badly by most projections. They have to work together.
Don't you think they will?
I pray that they will, Larry. I pray that they will.
Don't you think they will, Mastin?
I don't know.
I think they have to.
Maybe. I think that if you look at the last 4 years, you know, you see, from my perspective, a lot of people putting party ahead of country. And that is very disconcerting to pretty much every single person I know, no matter what political affiliation they are. And I think that if we don't, we're going to, you know, see some major issues coming.
Yeah, but there's no big Tea Party movement now to defeat Obama. He's not going to run for re-election, right?
Yes.
I think that you're going to see my prediction, which I don't think is very original. I think that this president, during this next 4 years, is going to be a lot more aggressive with some of those voices than he'd been previously. I think that, you know, when he came in 4 years ago, he really was elected in on this wave of bipartisanship and trying to work across the aisle. And, you know, while certainly I think a lot of folks in the GOP have taken issue with how, you know, they say he strong-armed them on health care. It was a Republican health care plan. You know, he did come in, I think, trying to make some overtures to the other side. And I think that it was a real priority. And Mitch McConnell said it. Jim DeMint said they wanted to make Obamacare his Waterloo. And it really became about beating Barack Obama. And now I'm hoping that maybe it will be about getting a few things done. We won't get everything done, but maybe we'll get a few things done.
A couple points about the second term. There's a lot of times in the second term, presidents start thinking about legacy. Sometimes that means they engage more across the aisle, but sometimes it means they overreach because they feel like they have a mandate. I think it'll be up to President Obama whether he engages. I will say this, I take him at his word when he says he was having dinner with his family every night and didn't have time to interact with Congress, but I do think he'll have to interact with Congress more.
Well, let's take some second terms. Reagan had Iran-Contra. He finished low popularity. Bush had an economic collapse. Second terms aren't easy. War. You're a lame duck.
Ron Fournier, you may know Ron Fournier. Ron Fournier told me early in the first term of Bush, I'll never forget this. He told me over dinner one night that second terms if you look at the last 7 second-term presidents, and I can't name them all, he said every one of them have been miserable because, typically the media gets tired of you, your staff gets fatigued.
Clinton had a scandal.
Yeah, presidents get fatigued. You start getting a little hubris, right? And so second terms are very tough. And so I think the challenge for President Obama is to reach across. And when I say reach across the aisle, I don't mean that in a lofty way. I mean actually engage.
David?
Larry, we just saw this come across actually on Twitter. The president himself, when he does his own tweets, he signs it BO, and he just tweeted, "We're all in this together. That's how we campaign, and that's how we are. Thank you, Bo." And he also tweeted a picture of himself and the First Lady. I'll pull that up for you right now. We're waiting for the word if Governor Romney is going to speak and what time he may speak tonight. But again, the president just tweeting this photo of him and the First Lady as he writes 4 more years.
By the way, every network, we're joining in, every network is now saying that Obama has been reelected.
To give you a little behind the scenes of what's going on right now, one of the most kind of symbolic...
You've been in the hunt, Dave.
Yeah, well, I've been in the bubble behind the scenes, and one of the most symbolic things that's happening right now is you're waiting for that phone call, right? The networks can all call the election, but Barack Obama, it may have already happened, but he's waiting for a phone. He's waiting for his aide to come in and say, "Mr. President, it's Governor Romney." And Governor Romney,
right, you were there. Gore did not call Bush.
Well, there was a phone call, and Gore, they were discussing whether Governor Bush was going to concede, and he said he was not going to concede. And Al Gore said, "You don't have to get snippy with me," and that was kind of a famous phone call.
Yeah, that's right.
And so these phone calls have been contentious, but those phone calls are very important. So I'm sure right now they're waiting on that phone call.
I doubt, knowing Mitt Romney, I know Mitt Romney, that this will be a courteous.
It will be gracious.
Classy. What about his future?
Well, I think anytime, going back to a conversation we had earlier, I think anytime, he's run twice now. He
didn't get the nomination.
Well, I know, but I'm saying he's run for president twice. He put a lot of his personal wealth into running for president. I think for him, he's got to decide where his place in the party, because a lot of people believe that there are future stars, that it's time for a Republican Party 2.0, and so I don't think he's going to be the chosen one, if you will.
Will there be a Republican clash between the Tea Party and well, I guess there'll be a Christie movement now, won't there?
I think there's going to have to be. I mean, Reid just talked about the Republican Party coming back, or the Republican Party
Rebooting.
2.0. That Republican Party 2.0 has got to dramatically recalibrate its relationship with a lot of those folks on its extremes who I think have just had a little too much influence.
Are you encouraged, Mastin?
I certainly am. I mean, I definitely voted for Obama, and I think that, my hope is that, in the second term, he can be a little bit more aggressive and sort of put forward the things that he is really passionate about. And I think the thing that's interesting is one of my mentors, Tony Robbins, says that when people win, they party, and when they lose, they ponder. And I think that if anything, it's a message to the Republican side to really kind of look at why this happened and how they can reshape to be a more integrative approach.
Can I tell you, I can tell you one thing that's going to happen. Do you remember when Hillary and Obama were first emerging? I know you and I were sitting on Larry King Live back then when Hillary and we were debating, Obama, is this wave for real? And is Hillary's ground game? We were debating who was going to come out on top. Michigan, remember all those debates? I think you're going to see a new Republican Party led by Chris Christie, and I think you're going to see a lot of people running to the Jeb Bush saying, hey, Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush is tall, good-looking, multilingual. Moderate. He was an 8-year governor with a 60% or more favorable.
And a moderate, isn't he?
A moderate, but his approval was over 60 for all 8 years.
He's married to a Latina.
He's married to a Latina, so you're going to see a lot of people running to Jeb Bush, and you're going to see a lot of people saying, no, not another Bush, and going to Chris Christie. I think you're going to see an internal battle in the Republican Party.
Now, on the Democratic side, we're so funny in America. Okay, let's go. Now
Next
what?
election.
Okay,
but it's
Hillary.
Tomorrow morning is the first day of the 2016.
If Hillary wants it, she got it. Well, I think that the governor of New York,
Andrew
Cuomo, has said,
if Hillary goes it, I'm not.
That if Hillary wants it, he's going to
Who
back
is it, the
off.
governor of Maryland?
If she wants it, then he's going to.
But I thought it was hers for the taking in 08. I honestly did. Tanya and we both thought Hillary's ground game, her connections. But what I found was Hillary played Bobby Kennedy to Bill Clinton for about 20 years. She was the bad cop. She stepped on a lot of toes. She punched a lot of people's faces in. And then she had to turn around and say, hey, can I have some money? Hey, can I have your support?
It wasn't just that. If you read The Audacity to Win, Pluff's book about inside the campaign, which is really insightful, they had, the Obama campaign had about the same chance as Romney did to win this campaign, and they did pull their inside straight. And Hillary came to Hollywood very,
You don't
very
think Hillary would be the favorite right now?
Oh, absolutely.
She would.
Absolutely.